When it comes to having cars that feel overall like a fresh breath of air and just amazing, these would be the top 5 cars that I would recommend you use. Now, I want to just start off by saying that I don't think there's actually a huge car gap in this game to where certain cars are like immaculately better, but for the most part, all of the cars are balanced, and that, to be completely honest, every single car can absolutely catch doors and run smooth lines. But if you're a new player or anyone asks for suggestions on the best cars, this is what I would tell them. Hello guys, sorry, future me here. I just wanted to make a quick note and say that the reason that I'm having other people do this driving sections is to prove just that how versatile these cars are and that other people can drive them. And I also want to give a big thank you to all of these guys. I obviously have their names listed. I'm gonna have their names listed on the driving part for them, but also down in the description I've asked them if they wanted to link certain things, so make sure you show them some love, and I'm very appreciative to them helping out. But I wanted to go ahead and show you guys that that's just how versatile these cars are, and having the ability to have anybody kind of hop in them and just do well in them. So yeah, big thanks to those guys, and I'm sorry, let's get back into it. So the first car that I'm going to start with is number 5, and we're going to be starting with the Toyota Chaser, otherwise called, I believe it is the Burner. I'll pop them up on screen. They're in-game names for, the people who don't have real car names. So the first thing that I want to bring up about the Chaser is that this car literally dominated the comp side of things and had to take a tire pressure nerf in order to be able to balance with the rest of the cars in the game. Now, this was a while ago, but nothing has really changed. While this car is on the larger side, and for some people this is a turnoff, there is no denying that the engine is top tier and the car feels smooth. With just a little bit of tuning, you won't even really know that the car is of a larger size, to be completely honest. You'll hear me say that exact sentence for a lot of these cars, and I'm sure it'll be a little, annoying, but it is true, and it rings true for every single one of the cars. Now, just so I can mention a bonus here, for many of you, a big bonus is going to be that this car is a JDM car. And just a good looking car, even without a livery, to be honest. It just looks clean and natural. The hitboxes on this car are balanced. For a larger car, you can take off the back bumper, and even if it's just placebo, it does make the car seem like it's easier to chase. But whether you need a smooth lead or a fast chase, this car will have it covered. Number 4, we're going to be talking about the S15. Oh, the S15. I want to say this is one of the cars that I believe that people either love or hate. That being said, the car is a monster, particularly in the comp setting, but you will have a hard time finding a comp that hasn't had an S15 in it, at least one, if not more than that. But if a car is good in a comp setting, that also means that the car has the potential to be good in a tandem setting. Again, the S15 follows the role of having a good engine, and of course is an S chassis, which will earn some bonus points. And of course, just looking at her, just look at her. Anyway, I think it's pretty well known that this car can get sideways and do it smoothly. One downside in my opinion is that the car can be on the harder side to tune, mainly with the gears, but once you get a good tune in your hands, just like... Alright, car number 3. I keep looking at the wrong camera, so I'm doing the weird finger. Oop. Weird finger thing. So car number 3 is going to be the Supra Mark V, or the new Supra. The Supra is the perfect size, has a good back bumper hitbox, which means that it's easy for people to chase, which is always a plus, and the car does not feel very heavy, but it still gets a nice tire size with it, and of course, a nice engine. There is no doubt that this car has the speed to dominate chasing, and in my opinion, is one of the smoothest leading cars on this list. Something about the build of the car and the way the weight is just disputed throughout the whole entire car makes it transition smoothly. But I mean, of course this will depend on your tune, but as always, if you have a good tune in your hands, this car is going to feel amazing. This is one of the cars that I've probably driven less, but whenever I drive it, it always feels super solid and just super natural and an easy car to drive. Number 2, I'm gonna give to the Viper, the new Viper. The Viper STR maybe. I know that some of you are going to say that no matter what, this car should not be this high on this list because of the fact that you have to use a manual clutch to drive this car. But hear me out. I personally think that the manual clutch is better all around and everyone should run it. So that completely eliminates the problem. I mean, now to talk about the actual car. You get one of the best stock engines in this game. That's immediately. Because this car is on the heavier side, you also get the luxury of bigger tires. This normally means more speed and more comp potential normally, along with the engine, of course. And then, now the car is bigger. It is bigger in size, and it honestly has a pretty big front end. The back end is not so bad, but when you're chasing, you kind of need to be a little bit careful. But once you get used to chasing in the car, get used to how big the front end of the car is, you should be just fine. If I need a car that will just be a demon and run people's doors, this is 100% the car that I'll go and grab. If I know that I just want to eat someone's door, I'll just go and grab it. And yes, of course, it does lead smoothly, but I think that this car extra excels in the chasing category, for me at least, as most things do, as I'm a chase heavy driver. Now, every list normally has honorable mentions, so here are mine, and you know, let's just keep it simple. First, I have the Mustang. I feel like I have to put the Mustang on the list just in general. And then I have the BMW M2 and M4. These are the two BMWs that I recommend out of all of them. And then the Nissan 350 or 370. Both of those are very solid. The Nissan 180. Some of the cars I think could be swapped around in the top 5 list based on your driving style. For me, they just don't quite make it. But for many others, these are some of the only cars that they drive, and all of these cars follow a similar logic of having a good size, engine, and just overall feeling smooth. I also think there are many cars that I haven't mentioned that could be on this list, and honestly, that's just left for a later tier list I might make. I don't think you can go wrong with any of the cars that I've mentioned in this video, not one bit at all, and to be honest, everything I've said for the other cars mostly applies to these cars as well. They're all amazing options, but they just didn't quite make the cut out of the cars on these honorable mention list, but again, are still very, very solid. Number 1. The Corvette C6. The C6 is honestly the holy grail of Cars In CarX. It is the absolute best car that you can use. It is quite honestly just perfect. The engine, the size, the transmission, the weight, the way it feels, literally everything. I strongly believe that the C6 is miles above the rest of the cars in this list. And better yet, the rest of the cars in the game. I have actually been avoiding tuning it because I know that I will not drive another car and that will not be good for creating content, and a good C6 tune in the hands of basically anyone that has basic knowledge of how to drift and just of the game will immediately make them 10 times better. I truly believe that this car is just superior. It's just, yeah. When I get back into C6 after driving other cars for a while, it truly feels like I'm coming up for a fresh breath of air. It feels almost like whenever you take a shower after a long, hard day of work. It truly just drives like no other. And of course, this is bias, but if I had to recommend one car to anybody, new, veteran, whatever, it would be the C6. It's hard to find someone driving a C6 that is decently tuned that's driving bad. All that being said, this is for me, of course. The list is all personal preference and may have many different opinions, which is fine, and you're more than welcome to share them, but let's just keep it respectful as always. Like I said, these would be my top 5 cars that I would recommend to new players or just anyone that wanted a reliable, consistent car, and why I would recommend them. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and always have a good day, night, whatever time it is for you, and peace.